Welcome back to the Valley Hoops Insider podcast, part of the Valley Hoops Insider website. I'm Harry Schroeder, and that dashing young man on the screen with me is the head coach of the Evansville Purple Aces, David Ragland. And Coach, appreciate your time today. Always love catching up with you. You always brighten my day. Do you do that for everybody or just me?
Just you, just
Okay.
you. You're special, man. I appreciate you having me. Again, I love what you do for our league, and just how you promote it, and you do a great job. So I enjoy spending time with you.
Well, I appreciate your time as well. You're heading into year number 4 at Evansville, and I've got like kind of all kinds of questions in my brain
All right.
about this today. I met with Coach Ryan Miller recently. You know, he's brand new, and you're
Yeah.
starting your 4th year. Guys in different spots. How has this experience changed either philosophy or approach? Or even your personality 3 years in, heading into year
Right.
4, how
Right.
have you changed or grown or matured or relearned? You know, just talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, and it's been a little bit of a whirlwind, but everything that involves a program is important. I think it's helped me prioritize the priorities, and just learning how to continue to navigate all the nuances. I think about 5 years ago, just collegiate sports in general was just, I mean, it was completely different,
Yeah.
and now it's unrecognizable now from when it was 5 years ago. And like you said, going into year 4, what the job was in year 1 is completely different now going into year 4. So learning how to pivot, um, has been a huge learning, experience. But learning how to pivot, but still keeping the main thing, which are the student athletes, um, and then also, running a first class program at a place that's just quality in terms of the people, the education that you get, and the history. So it's been a lot, um, but I've learned how to pivot while keeping the main thing, and that's been, just navigating and adjusting your priorities.
This wasn't on my list. I've got a long list of questions. This wasn't on my list, but I'm listening to you
I like
talk,
it.
and I think of your athletic director, Mr. Siegfried.
Yeah.
Um, talk about him. He's a fascinating guy to me. Meaning, he's that CEO. He's building all these things, and
Yeah.
yet so down to earth all at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. No, it makes it exciting to come to work every day. They say people don't leave jobs; they leave management.
Mm-hmm.
And like he's a wonderful person, human being number one. He's consistent. You're not walking in, oh, which guy am I meeting today? He's the same genuine, down to earth, caring person. He cares about myself, the other coaches, our families, and our student athletes. And every day that he walks in to the building, when he leaves, when he lays his head down, he's thinking about how can we improve what we're doing, and how do we do that without cutting any corners? So, man, he's a ton of fun to be around. Makes you really realize the importance of alignment, because him and myself, we care about the same things. We care about people, period, but we also care about doing things in a quality manner. And then it helps icing on top, right? Is our president is the exact same way. So I couldn't be around a better leader, and Dr. Siegfried. What he's done here and the time that we've been here, from what he inherited. I think about myself, like what we inherited was a little bit of a mess, but his is all encompassing, and he inherited a lot more than what I did individually. And the way that he's done it, like you said, and the class that he's done it, I mean, it's admired. I admire how he goes about his business.
Yeah, I've been super impressed by him. You talked about how unrecognizable college athletics are in general, college basketball in particular. continuity is like kind of out the window, and yet on your coaching staff, you have some continuity of some players
Yeah,
that love that area, love that school.
yeah,
Talk about your coaching staff. I have such high regard for those guys.
yeah. No, it's great. Number one, um, taking over this job, that was it. I want to be around, surround myself around really good people. Um, people that care about others, and then loving fathers and husbands, just guys that have been there, done that. Um, and that's what it is. I love coming to work every day. We laugh a ton. We work really, really hard, but we also enjoy our time around each other. So having individuals like Craig Snow, who's from Mount Carmel, which is about 40 to 45 minutes from Evansville, a person that played here, wore the uniform, his blood, sweat, and tears is all over the locker room and in the gym that used to be here in Roberts Stadium. I think it means a lot, first off to him, but it means a lot to the student athletes that play for us because it's a guy that's been through what they're going through. So he's speaking from experience. The last person to help, raise a banner and go to the NCAA tournament, and that's just you can't replace that. And then DJ Ballantyne, another person who wore the jersey, the leading scorer in program's history, that will probably never get touched. The way that the collegiate sports is
Mm.
anymore, and plus he got a lot of shots up.
Yes.
But no, he's the same way. I mean, you've been around him. He has a great personality. The guys love being around him. They're in his office a ton. And again, he's another guy that's been there, done that. Won a ton of games while he was here, but also like worked really, really hard to be the player that he ended up being. The engaged Bowl, who we inherited. And I spoke about it, the first year that we taught. We inherited him as a player, and not only a player, a walk-on that got a scholarship once we came in, that I felt like after watching him, he earned. And then he went from that, earning that scholarship, to earning a starting role. And then he earned the graduate assistant position here on our staff. And he has a wealth of knowledge. He's as close to, it's hard, now, I guess, accepting that we're the older guys on
Uh,
staff, myself and Stone and George Swanson, and having someone like Gage Bowe, who's younger, he's fresh off of what these guys are going through. He can really relate to them and then help just keep them on track, is extremely important. Love having him around. And then, George Swanson and Sammy Dowd are two guys that came in with us and have been here from the very beginning. And what it allows me to do is, as you talked about, the job has changed, and where I'm getting pulled to and being asked to do has changed. And with them knowing our culture, they know our foundation. They know just our pillars. They know our language. They can go and do what we do, and it's not well, if I was there, I'll be doing this.
mhm.
They get it. They understand it. They really do a great job of supporting the culture, fighting for our culture, and echoing what we're about, what we do on a regular basis. So they do a great job just managing the day to day with our players, with their uh, daily schedules and their habits, and make sure that our program continues to elevate how we have since we've been here.
It's a struggle nowadays to keep rosters together, and you guys lost some pretty talented players in the portal. How important, not just from a talent standpoint,
Yeah.
but the emotional standpoint, was it for Turnbull and Hughes and some others to stick around?
Yeah, no, that was vital. It was extremely important to keep them because it is like the guys that left. Everyone has their story, has a reason, and I respect it. And I'm happy for each and every one of the guys that did move on. It was right for them, but emotionally it does impact the guys who stayed, because that's their brothers, that's the guys that they spend time with, that's their teammates. So it's an emotional hit. But to have, two guys, Josh Hughes, Connor Turnbull, returning starters, stick around. Well, first off, like, bigs are really, really hard to get. Uh, they're extremely hard to keep, and they're really hard to get out of the portal. To be able to have those guys stay and be committed and want to continue the journey and the race here at Evansville means a ton. That experience that they have, you can't replace it. And Josh has been with us now. He'll be one of the longest tenured guys that we've had on our roster, along with Wes Eigner and Dakota Candler. Those three have been with us for 3 years. So that's great for our culture. It's great for them. Like, our assistants echo the culture, but then it moves on to being a player-led team. And to have three guys that really understand it, that breathe it, that live it every day, means a lot. And then, returning the defensive player of the year and Turnbull is really, really important. He's the anchor of our defense. Our defense really made a huge jump last year, so it's great to have him. And again, it's great to have them on a talent um, side of things, but it's great to have them as another voice of reassurance of, this is what we do. Here's how we go about our workouts. Here's how we go about, our community outreach. It doesn't matter what it is. They get it, they know it, and they can show it to the new guys. So having those guys back, and then Kaya Burridge and Trent Hudley is really, really important.
You said you're happy for the guys that moved on and all that. Is it okay for me as an Evansville fan to be ticked? Is it okay if I'm
absolutely.
mad? Okay, just checking. I want to check out my character here.
That's what I appreciate about you.
I'm mad. I'm throwing darts at their pictures here in my office. You mentioned Josh, and you guys have picked up some international players,
right?
Besides him. Talk about the value, the importance of finding those players on the international level, maybe in part because of the changing face of college basketball.
Yeah, no, I think it's really, really important. And you're starting to see a trend going that direction, where a lot of universities are looking at international players and guys who maybe have a little experience of playing, some type of pro ball internationally. For us, it's us finding our niche. Who fits us, who fits our program, who fits our community, who fits our university. And myself and Coach Snow have a background in not only recruiting but coaching successful international players. And the community of basketball is extremely small, so people get a chance to talk. And if one person has a great experience, it opens up the door for others that want to have that same type of experience. So once we had Josh Hughes here in his freshman year, he was able to really help us in a positive way, play some significant minutes on a team that has success. That opened up Gabriel Bozzato, coming here, and Kaya Burridge wanting to be here. And then fast forward to even now, Leif Moeller. And then we just signed another young man from Australia, and James, that is now here. So it opens up the door and allows others to want to, follow that same journey, same path, and look at it as an opportunity to have success both academically and athletically. And then the joy of them being here and how connected I feel like our program is to the COE, or our program is to international basketball. It allows them to socially have some success. So it's good that Josh came here and had a good experience. That's allowed us to bring others here that have positively impacted our program.
I'm a zero expert when it comes to recruiting and for sure in the transfer portal. And so when I evaluate your recruiting, looking at your high school players and what kind of stars they have, or
Yeah.
your transfer players and what kind of stats they have, it's really difficult for an amateur like me, right? But you have some Division I guys coming in with some
Mhm.
experience.
Mhm.
How important is that? And talk about Porter and Hemingway and Barnes and Casey, guys that have played at other programs, and some of them programs that some would call, a higher level than
Right.
Evansville.
Right. No, I think it's really important. At the end of the day, we're always preaching habits. We're always preaching, here's how it is at this level. So it's important to get guys that understand that. It's good to preach that, but it's better to have people on the other end that understand it and appreciate it. And they know how tough it could be. They know that not every day is 70 and sunny. They understand that the work that they do put in over time does go towards something positive. So having those guys here is good because you have your returners who are your core and they understand what we do here. But then you bring in guys with college experience that come in and understand, yeah, what they're saying is true
Mm.
because I witnessed it at school, whatever. And that they have some guys that like Barnes, was at Pitt and didn't have a great experience in terms of playing on the court. Alex Hemingway has had some injuries, but was at Clemson. Then he went to Vanderbilt, so he didn't have a ton of recent uh, experience or success on court. AJ Casey has some injuries. Started his career at Miami, Florida. Went to the Final Four. Was on that team. Played some significant minutes
Mhm.
at a young age there, but had some injuries. Went to St. Louis. Didn't have a great um, playing experience there. But those three that come from a higher level come here with an appreciation of having an opportunity to actually play.
Mhm.
It's minutes over anything else. It's minutes over money. It's minutes over, anything else. Your pride, essentially. And then it also, I love them all because they have a chip on their shoulder.
Mm.
They're in a situation where it's like, okay, I didn't get an opportunity to play. I feel like I deserved it. I worked my tail off. Now I'm in a situation where these coaches believe in me. They work with me. We're going to show each other together, uh, that this chip on the shoulder is going to turn into a productive season. And then, Keyshawn Porter as another guy, I think it got about Gabriel Brazzado and how athletic he was and some of the plays that he made above the rim. And Keyshawn has those same qualities. I mean, he's extremely athletic. I love his motor. His motor runs every single day. He's really good on the defensive end, which is good for us because we stress that. We made some major strides on the defensive end. So again, all their experiences, good and bad, really transition well here and is going to help our team in terms of our maturity, um, the appreciation and the chip on the shoulder that we want to play with. That all that what they have and what they've been through helps.
Guys that want to be aggressive defensively have a big opportunity on your team because you got those erasers by the rim.
Yeah,
You guys can be aggressive on the perimeter because you've got a safety net behind.
yeah. No, I think that helps a ton. We really stress paint protection, and then having guys, like Josh. I think he was maybe third or fourth last year in terms of blocks in our conference, and then Connor being number one. Um, it does give our perimeter players more confidence to heat someone up, because they know that their teammate has their back, and we limit the paint touches, the paint points, and at the rim finishes. Teams have had to beat us from the perimeter, which for us is a lower percentage shot. You have to do that for 40 minutes. and we just play the percentages, but it has allowed our guards to be more aggressive, knowing that we have some rim protection, and really, I look at Josh, his switchability.
Mm.
Like we've recruited guys that are versatile, and a lot of people look at that on the offensive end. Well, his versatility, and just him specifically, but across the board, we try to do this. His versatility defensively really helps because he can slide his feet against guards and keep bigs in front of him, really fight the fight on the perimeter and in the post. So having that versatility is important, but having that size and aggression and rim protection is really, really good.
I know scheduling is not easy, but I like the way you have a pushover in your first non-conference game in Purdue and a walkover against Notre Dame at the very end of the non-conference schedule.
Absolutely.
But in between those two easy games, how do you like your schedule?
No, I love it. I think it's a really, really good balance. Starting off at Purdue, it's so important to get, I think, in-state games. We've been able to do that, with Ball State, which we will play and continue our series with them this year. But man, they get Purdue, and I love, uh, you know, Purdue and Notre Dame. I love Paint and Shrewsbury. They're phenomenal people.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I think they do an unbelievable job running first class programs. Um, so they're guys that do what we are working to do, and treat people right, first class. Don't cut any corners. I think we'll learn a ton from those games. But again, there's an appreciation when you're in a state like Indiana that just loves basketball. They put a basketball in your crib whenever you're born. To be able to play against other programs in the state that are passionate and have an appreciation for, just quality basketball. I think that's really, really important. But then, to be able to play, teams like Middle Tennessee, UT Arlington,
Mhm.
Ball State. We played all those guys and Western Kentucky. All of them last year, I think, really, really helped our team, even though it wasn't great going through it. They all beat us pretty good. It really prepared us for our conference season. So continuing those games is really important. Being able to have an experience to go and travel and play in the Virgin Islands, to play against Oregon State, which is the last team that we actually won a game against in the NCAA tournament in our program's history, is exciting, with an opportunity to play against either Iona or Akron, who have both have recent success. I think you want to be battle tested in your non-conference and add in some experiences for your student athletes. And I feel like we were able to make that happen with the way we set up our non-conference schedule.
Every time I talk to you, I talk about the sleeves. We got to bring the sleeves back, but on your uniforms. I do want to ask you what I call the portal pandemic, the consummation of all of the different things that have created where we are in college basketball. How is Evansville, your program, the university, how are you guys navigating those waters? I want to ask you about specific numbers and all of that,
Right.
but how do you guys navigate what has become a multi-billion-dollar business, and all of a sudden we're guys to dribble, pass, and shoot? How difficult is it, and how do you feel like the progress is coming there for Purple Aces Nation?
Yeah, I think it's extremely difficult, because change is tough. Change is tough for a lot of people, and especially when, hey, well, this is how we've always done it. When that sometimes is the mindset, it's tough to adapt. But I would say that we have made some positive strides, and the message that I've given to our fan base is, I am from Evansville, and it doesn't matter how long I'm sitting in the seat. My feelings toward this program will always be the same. that whoever is sitting in the seat, we have to support them,
Mm.
and we have to support them to give them the best competitive advantage that is needed for the program to be what it deserves to be. And when you have a story program that has a great opportunity to be successful year in and year out, it takes a village, and that village is not just the people in these walls. You know, it's not just me, my staff, our players. Like it's the people on campus. It's the people in the community. It's the ones that are now away from the community, but they're a part of UE in that community, or Evansville College, or the plane crash in 1977, whatever it may be. There are so many people that can impact our program. And that's the other thing that I look at too is there's never been a time like this where stakeholders, where supporters can have a direct
Mm.
impact on the success of your program. And as long as people understand that, they know that, then you have a chance. And we've made some really, really positive strides. Um, there are a lot of people that care deeply about this program and understand the nuances. They understand the change, and they understand that um, we want to get the tradition back to where it was, and then um, actually make our mark on this moment in time.
Mm.
Because it will never be like this again. We have an opportunity to really um, make our mark in a positive way, and there's enough people that understand that are supporting us more so than ever before. So I'm appreciative that we have. Again, I'll go back to our president, Pres P, and Ziggy. We have great leaders, but I'm appreciative that we have a community that understands our past. They know where we're at right now. We're navigating together collectively how to make this work so that our future can be as positive as possible.
You're right. It's never going to be this way, exactly this way, because there's going to be another lawsuit and something
Yeah,
else is going to change tomorrow.
you
So,
know it.
how
You
it's
know it.
however it's going to be. One last question, because I've kept you way too long already.
Oh, you good?
Talk to me about the Missouri Valley Conference. Your appreciation for the league. I mean, you cared about it on the way in. Now you've been in it 3 years. What do you love? What makes it the conference that it is?
There's so many things that are special about it. Um, you know, Number one, we're the second oldest conference in the country. We've had one of the longest, um, I guess, tournaments like in one location in St. Louis. That's had a couple different names, but in the same place. So that I mean the tradition. There's teams that have been in 4 or 5 different leagues here in the last
Mhm.
decade. You have alignment in other places that with the Missouri Valley, it's a constant, and it's always going to be that way. And there have been some changes. I mean, you look at what's happened at Drake here recently, um, but regardless of the changes, there's been consistency in success. There are so many quality coaches. There's a lot of phenomenal players that play in our league that end up in our league and go into a bigger school, higher level, and have success when they do that, or that have been in our league and go to the professional level and have success that way. It's extremely competitive, very passionate fan bases. I think it. I've been in several different leagues myself, the Missouri Valley, Mountain West, Big East, and those other leagues are very respectable, but Missouri Valley is second to none. And we are getting closer and getting back to where we'll have a multi-bid, uh, conference. I feel that getting closer and closer. Because what we do here is first class, and we do a really, really good job. I look at my non-conference schedule, and I think about how competitive that
Mhm.
is. But you can look at all of uh, our member schools. We're all playing competitive non-conference schedules to make sure that we're testing and we're ready for our conference season. And then we just beat each other up. I mean, we go to war. And there, what I love about our league too is our coaches, man. We're going to compete like crazy on game night, but have so much respect for each other. Whether we're out recruiting or we're in between games, there's just an appreciation and respect level that is really, really classy. So our administrators do a great job. This league is very, very special, second to none, and it's going to be another super competitive 25-26 season. And I'm saying this now, it will go down to the very last game of who's going to win this regular season conference championship.
Yeah, I think it should be a great competitive year. I lied. One last question.
Yeah.
Listen, I've talked to city administrators. I've talked to Ziggy. I've talked to you. I've talked to Stan Gerard. USI Evansville. We have to have like the Mayor's Cup game. When is that going to happen? I'm pressing for the Mayor's Cup in Evansville.
We're working on it, and every year we get a little bit closer. So we're working on it. I got a ton of respect for Stan. He coached me when I was in college at USI. So we want to make it happen. Our administrators want to make it happen. It's always a bunch of red tape and a lot of conversations to get where we want to go, to try to make everyone happy, which that never happens. But we do want to make it happen, and we're getting a tad bit closer.
Look, I have a $20 bill right here.
Yeah.
I will contribute to making the Mayor's Cup a reality in Evansville. I will show up. I will sell tickets. I'll do whatever I can.
Hey, I think that we'll put that both in our NIL.
There you go.
Collectors right there.
Appreciate your time. That's David Ragland. He's the head coach of the Evansville Purple Aces. Looking forward to another great season with you, Coach, and thanks for your time today.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you folks watching and listening. You've been paying attention to the Valley Hoops Insider podcast, part of the Valley Hoops Insider website. Remember, since you've been there, make it a better place. We'll see you again real soon.